So, as you can see now with me, there's a chance to bring a world champion. 2017 or 2017, it was the world champion from WTCR. It's with us, Thad Bjork. He's the one that we welcome here in 16 Válvulas from Portugal. And it is a great honor to receive you. I hope that you are hearing me well. Everything is okay. You are ready?
Yes, hello. It's nice to be with you in the interview. I am ready. It just took a little bit longer for this 2021 season we confirmed the drivers and so on, but I'm really ready. I'm not, the haircut is not race ready yet, but it's pre-season for us.
Okay, perfect. So if you allow me, we can start by asking about this in this case, 2021. You have been confirmed in your team, in this case, in Lyn Co, with also as your teammates. It will be the same squad that it was last year. For your expectations, how is 2021 at this moment? Are you ready to start the season? What can you give us the income from this season?
No, but this... I am really ready to start the season. I am very happy that we will start the season, but it's still because of the COVID. It's not really sure everything that is, with the races. I really much hope that I can come back to Villarreal in Portugal.
Okay. Yes.
My favorite circuit on the calendar. So
okay.
This is what I look forward to. But I am happy to start the season by testing. So we've been out in Europe to start test now, and we were very successful last year, winning both the team and the driver championship. As for me, I won the total championship 2017. It was quite long ago now. So I feel ready to be able to challenge myself again. But I need to fix, the feeling in the car and to be able to push as much as I want by myself. So this is the focus now in the testing. So I can then try to win races and I can be the one to try to be on the top.
Okay. So what has changed from the previous season, 2020, in order for you to be confident that this will be the year that you will be again the world champion? What has changed? Yourself? You have changed your physical preparation, for example?
No, the physical... that is the same, but I have last year I got a new race engineer, and during the year we learned from each other a lot, and he learned how I want the car, for example. So a really big difference is that we are now allowed during the preseason test to put the car in the way I want it and explore that area, and I think that will make a big difference in when we start the season.
And what about the car? Is it? We know that it's not completely new, but you have taken some tokens in order to improve more some else issues that you wanted to do. Is it so?
Yeah, but mainly is setup. Actually, part of the setup will suit me better because this car now is the third year we are running with the Lyn Co car, and it has been very successful. But I have very fast teammates. With Ivan Müller and Jan and then Santi Urrutia. So it's very, very hard competition inside the team. It also means that if I can beat them, I can also be on top. So that's why it's really hard, and good to have the good teammates that you compete against.
Okay. Okay. And about the calendar from this season, you are expecting some balance, as you say, with these older races and the tracks that you already know. You are coming, as you said before, you are coming again from, in this case, for Villarreal, where you have won. What do you see in this calendar? What is your opinion in this calendar? Especially after a difficult year like the 2020, it was very short program. This year, we hope that it will be a fast and will be a complete program, right?
Yes, we do. And we also hope that the people can come and visit us, the fans, so that we can have audience around. I think this is the main topic now in the beginning of the season, to see how the vaccine is distributed throughout Europe and the world. So what I hope is that we can actually do the races, which is in the calendar. And for the best thing would be to people can come and meet us as well.
Okay, I see the point.
Yeah, and if that doesn't happen, probably they will change some of the dates and the races. But I look forward for the basic one to go first.
And which is the income that the people that goes for the races, what are the income that they give to you in your driving style? You need them to cheer up, or only to see with the places there fulfilled with people waving and all the things?
I think because all the time before in my career, we met the fans and people, kids and stuff on the racetrack, which really likes to see us drive and fight against each other and so on. So it is a big atmosphere. And when COVID came and we don't have any audience, it's the most atmosphere that goes missing. And we do this because most of my fellow drivers, they enjoy this, and we like to be out and fighting against each other, but also meet all the people that like to look at us. So for me, it's more the atmosphere. Otherwise, when I sit in the car and just do the lap time, then I don't see anybody. But around is very important with people, I think.
Okay. With media, social media, and for all the things, it is important to to hear the opinions and the people cheering up, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. Because then you can get contacts and so on, and you meet interesting people when you travel around the world and do the races.
And for example, I'm asking this, it is only an opinion that I'm asking, but for example, when Thiago races here in Villarreal, with all that crown that comes for the race and also for the podium at the end, do you think there is an extra power, as to say, for him to make a perfect race and go on winning, right? Do you think there is I don't know how to say it, but an extra power?
Yeah, but if I have been on the podium together with Thiago in Portugal, in Villarreal, and exactly as you say, it's like a superpower to be people that are doing this. So yes, I agree. And if we don't have the people there, it's like a missing piece to what we do.
Okay, I see the point. Also about this season 2021, you see some opponents that are appearing. Some teams are still the same, as you have already seen, for example, with Honda. What do you expect from your opponents? Because, for example, today it was shown that Tom Coronel will appear in Audi. What do you expect for your other adversaries, your opponents?
I think it will be maybe a little bit more cars this year, because if I know correctly, we will have 4 new Audis. We have the Hondas and we have Hyundais, us, and 4 Seats. So probably a little bit more cars this year. And always the competition is very hard. And the new Audi with, I think, Vervish is back, and with Berton. And then if Honda works together with Esteban, Nestor, Thiago, and Attila, it's always a big fight. So what to expect?
For a new, okay, we lost your signal. Sorry, Ted, but you were talking about Audi and Honda and.
Yes, and it's always difficult to see before the season. But these competitors, the drivers, are really good. So I think it will be a fight from the beginning again, as it was last year.
And the youth generation, do you still are aiming to see what they can bring with new blood, as to say?
Yes, it's always interesting. But what I like in touring cars sometimes is that experience. Even I'm getting older, I can still compete because I have so much experience from the car I'm driving and the tracks we go to. So the young people has a problem to learn the tracks fast enough. So that's why we can be a little bit older and still compete. So it's a good thing in this series.
Okay. So that's a good point for us to talk about your past days, as to say, when you started competing. I was curious about to understand, why did you have chosen tourism cars? It was something that you were prepared in your youth to be a tourism car driver, or it was an accident, as to say? No, because you have a lot of success there in Swedish competition in the tourism car, right?
Yes, I had a long time from I was 24. I was in the Swedish Touring Car Championship. But before that, I tried to go to Formula cars, even in America, and I did some races in Formula 3000, also Formula 3. But I am a little bit too big, so it's really difficult to fit in the small Formula cars. So, and I didn't have the big sponsors that was needed in the beginning. For 20 years ago when I tried to get into Formula 1, I didn't have the sponsors, so I couldn't do it.
But you have other options rather than the tourism car, for example, with the resistance, for example? No? There was no other chance?
I tried with the sport cars and GT cars, but then I found my place in Turismo cars. And that's been my career since then, since 2005.
Okay. And also good conditions, as to say, there in Swedish, it is a rather competitive championship. Do you have a good impression that you can give us about the competition there in Sweden?
Yes, actually I have to, because it's been very hard competition. You know that the British touring car was super competitive back in the late 90s. And it also came to Sweden, even if we are a small country. We have like 25, 30 cars competing. And the top, 3 or 4 always in Sweden could be able to match the really fast drivers in the world. So it was quite a good championship. And for me, before I won my world championship, I won the Swedish championship 3 years in a row.
Yes.
So
I've seen that.
yeah, but that made me a little bit more ready for the world championship.
Yeah, I'm sure, completely sure. But you, when you were young, as to say, more years ago, you always wanted to be a race driver, or was there any chance for doing some other sports, for example, Swedish sports, for example, winter sports? I don't know.
No.
Only focused with the motorsport?
From I was 14 years old, and I watched Michael Schumacher came into Formula 1 and Ayrton Senna also. I saw I want to be a race car driver. And first I wanted to be a Formula 1 driver. But when I understand after a couple of years that this was not the goal, I changed to racing driver.
Okay, I see the point. So, what can you tell us about the best achievement in your best days? Were there the championship there in Sweden, or something other, not exactly for winning, but with the competitive side of competition?
No, but I am very lucky to be one of the persons that have won the world championship. And the career, when you build up, you become a Swedish champion and like a Scandinavian champion. Even in go-kart, I was the Swedish champion. And then in cars, in touring cars. And then to crown this with a world championship, that is fantastic. But I wanted not only to win once, I want to win 2 more times.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is the goal now. But the crown of the career was definitely the world title.
In 2017, right? Okay. So it's the perfect time also for asking for the future. You have said that you wanted this season to be the world champion twice, but for more time, what are you expecting for the next years? Are you planning to make the 3, the 4th, the 5th world championship? Or do you want it like, for example, in this case, Nico Rosberg, that he won the world champion in Formula 1 2016, and then he has gone. In your case, if you want these 2 championships, are you leaving or continuing?
No, but almost when I won 2017, I thought like Nico Rosberg, maybe I should stop now. But I did because I wanted a little bit more. So no, I would like to continue and try to get 2 more titles.
Okay, 3 the maximum?
Yeah, 3 in total. And I am 40 years old.
Yes.
So it means that I still have some good years if I look at Ivan Miller or Gabriel Tarquini, Thiago. So a couple of more years. I cannot tell you an exact stop date, but I'm very happy to be able to race as I do.
And is there a plan B for the next years? For example, I don't know, in a different competition or always in tourism car?
No, what I would like to go,
yes.
When the contract stops, I would like to do this, the Le Mans 24 hours. I did that almost 20 years ago in a French car, in an LMP1 car. So I would like to do Le Mans. I would like to do Daytona 24 hours, Road Atlanta, Sebring. that means I would like to do some of these competitions.
Endurance.
in the
Yeah,
race.
I see. And what do you think it will be the future for the WTCR? Do you think that it will come to, I don't know, electric mode or other things, or do you think that it will not change very much from this?
No, but everything in the motorsport now is changing a bit because manufacturers are going to electric. So everybody has to follow a little bit, but we are not really sure about how it will look now. The WTCR looks in one way, the ETCR, the electric one, looks in another way. So let's see in a couple of years or, close time, if they will combine this, one championship will be stepping up, or you know what I mean?
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
it's a little bit, it's not set yet. And
Yes.
I cannot see in the future, so I don't know, but I have to follow what happens.
But if they change, you have to change again with your driving skills, for example.
Yes, but what I did with my driving skills, learning in a factory team, is to develop a car. So if let's for the new electric one, I have very good experience to try to make a car, from the beginning again.
I see the point. Okay, so last question will be about your person, as to say, in your own opinion. I would like to hear from you what are, for example, your favorite drivers. We wanted to know if there's a Swedish driver, a world driver, which are your favorite drivers? Can you tell us something about yourself?
Yeah, but when I was young, it was Michael Schumacher and Ayrton Senna.
Okay.
So that was the big stars that I came into, that I decided to be a race car driver from. So that's a long time ago. But now when I look at the young drivers driving in Formula One, for example, some of them are doing a really good job, and you get to see them and see how they are focused and so on. That can also motivate me. And then I also see the difference in the teams, how the teams are fighting and the mechanics and so on. So you see many interesting people, not only the drivers. So you see that the top, maybe it's because I'm getting older. I see more people. My team boss in my team, Christian, that owns Science Racing, he is very inspiring, and he's doing, if I'm trying to be the world champion driving, he's doing it with the team. That's also very inspiring. So maybe not the answer you were looking for, because I feel like it's more people now that are inspiring me.
Okay, I see the point. I see, yes. And what about the Swedish drivers? They are not, as to say, here in Portugal, I would say that. So they are not very known, but there was some that was there in Formula One. In your case, which was your, as to say, one national driver that you really appreciate when you saw races at TV and all the information about media, because you obviously are receiving other media than ourselves, you see. Swedish driver, what can you tell us? Is it, to say, a different mode of question? Maybe I was wondering if your driving style, as to say, if we can say a Swedish driving style, it is completely different from, for example, Finnish drivers, from, as to say, Latin drivers. What can you tell us about the drivers there in Sweden?
No, but then I have to tell, the biggest influence for me is that
Yes.
I grew up in the same city as Ronnie Peterson.
Okay, that was the point.
The old Formula One driver. And sadly, he passed away, in Italy, in Monza.
Yes, yes.
But I grew up in the same town. Motorsport was very accepted in this, with the companies and so on. And people many of the people I met had a relation with Ronnie, which meant that when I started, it was easier to get sponsorship. Because then they saw, here comes a new young driver. And we were more drivers from Örebro. So he's from Örebro. And that meant that I could kickstart my career, because even if I didn't get the money to Formula One, I still needed the money to found the drives I did. So the biggest influence for me was Ronnie Peterson.
Okay, I see the point. And for your favorite track, you have already told about Villarreal at the beginning, but you were, for example, not, as you told me before, you were not only racing in WTCR. Is there any other track that you really appreciate driving there, for example?
Yeah, Nürburgring. the
Nordschleife.
Fantastic. Such a long track. Every time I turn out on the track with my race car, I am thinking like, did anyone see me, or am I allowed to go? It's so much fun. So definitely the Nürburgring.
Okay, I see. When they you yourself only drives 3 laps for maximum 4 laps, it is completely different and very hard. As we can see, he has already made 4 laps. 4 laps, only 4 laps. But then we have got to explain that the track is very, very long. Okay, last question. Obviously, we are calling from Portugal. Obviously, we have talked about Villarreal, but I have to ask you your opinion about your team. I don't know how to say the mate that drives there. It's your opponent. I see the point, but you are supposed to be friends outside the race, right? When you meet, when you talk, and you have some moments with yourselves. I would like to have your opinion about Tiago Monteiro, our Portuguese driver there in WTCR.
Yes, Tiago is a fantastic person. He's always kind and humble towards me. And we got to know each other when I came to the WTCC. And the season when I became a champion, Tiago was hurt in the incident. So from the beginning, I think me and Tiago has a very close bond, because if I was not going, when I won that year, Tiago would have been the champion, I think, without his accident. So I really appreciate the contact with Tiago as I have. And from me, I really hope he can be a champion in that series, because he's fighting so hard for it.
But when you leave WTCR, he can be champion, right?
But every time we come to Portugal, to Villarreal, when Tiago, wins a race coming up to the podium, that is almost the same feeling as winning the whole championship.
Yeah, I'm completely in agreement with you. Okay, Mr. Thad Bjork, as I was asking before, we will be very fast in these questions, but at the moment, I'm very happy for this conversation. I would like to end it up by wishing you the best championship. I hope that you achieve what you are aiming to be champion this year, but you have there some, as to say, fierce opponents in your own team. For example, with Jan Lacher, he was the champion last year with the same car that was yours. So I hope that you first win your team, and then winning the championship, I believe it will be easy. Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
So very much it was. And good luck for the season. We are expecting you here in Villarreal in Portugal. Yes. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.